Gary, not the result we wanted out at Box Hill yesterday, with the Hawks proving too strong by 43 points. You must obviously be disappointed at that result.
Well, you are, because I guess our games against Box Hill for quite a lot of years now, Sam, have been pretty close, really. And we obviously played them 3 times last year. You know, one was a draw, the other one was Toby's 200th, and we won that reasonably well. And then obviously in the final, Box Hill got us. So on the weekend, at about, the 12-minute mark of the third, we somehow got ourselves back into the game. It was probably more by being reasonably efficient rather than actually weight of numbers inside our forward half. And obviously by game's end we only had 35 inside 50, so we certainly got beaten quite convincingly there. But their aerial supremacy, both back and forward, I thought was telling. Their ability to defensively link up and use the ball by hand and foot was really, really creative, and we go shallow or get out marked, and then that ability to transition from Box Hill's defensive point of view was really, really quick. We were up and down in the centre bounce, and sometimes we won it and we got some good looks at it, but then other times they won it. And I guess our fundamental turnovers, they're a good side once you turn the ball over and they score, and a lot of the games that they've won, they've actually scored in excess of 50 points from turnovers by the opposition. And I think we gave them 3 goals in the first quarter, and I'd still hate to think by game's end how much we gave. So we had a lot of players down. I guess the resilience is really inconsistent too. Like, we can start the game okay, first quarter, then we drop off, momentum shifts, then we sort of get back into the groove, and then we drop off again. Look, yesterday, we're a team that needs really good contributions from most players on the day, or in actual fact all players, and we just had too many players that are down on their contribution, and you'll end up leaving it to too few, mate, and Box Hill will beat you.
Is there anything we can do, I suppose, to try and arrest some of those inconsistencies that are happening at the moment, not only from game to game, but sometimes even from quarter to quarter, or 10-minute patch to 10-minute patch?
Yeah, it's about what you're doing when you don't have the ball, I think, which is pretty important. And a lot of our players seem to, at times, find a gear when they believe they're a pretty good chance of winning the ball or getting the ball. But then the hard work has to be done early when you don't have the ball. And some of our players really are not working hard. Now, maybe that's a reactive thing, because once you get some confidence zapped by the opposition, you tend to actually go back into your shell, and then you don't tend to be proactive. We've made a lot of fundamental errors in not really going at the ball, and we didn't chase, we didn't harass. Some of our forwards and mids were just basically, wouldn't say not trying, but certainly our defensive unit then becomes under the pump, because if you can't halve a contest, which is important in our game, well, then the ball comes in with a relative lack of pressure, and it makes you look dumb. And some of our guys would have touched the ball 2 or 3 times, but they don't even have a tackle. So you've got to sort of say to yourself, well, where are they at? Yeah. And that's a mental thing. And they have to challenge themselves. Teammates have to challenge themselves. And if you don't do the fundamentals well, which we know the bigger the game, the more fundamentally based you have to be, it then plays into the opposition hands.
Isaac Conway, not the news we wanted to hear this morning, as it's been confirmed that he's now done his ACL and will be out for the rest of the season. It's a terrible, terrible blow, and unfortunately he's just had no luck at all in the past 12 months, and he's obviously in our thoughts right now as well.
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning, and look, we love him, and I love him as a coach to a player, and what he's done this year has been quite remarkable, really, since obviously, as you said, the things that happened last year. But he's an absolute ripper, and our hearts do go out to him because of the fact that he's now got to take it all in his stride, and of course he's now got a fairly long rehabilitation process, but we've just got to support him, get around him. He's much loved by us all, so yeah, we just wish him the best, and we've got to try and get his knee done, operated on reasonably quickly, and it's just a real blow on top of obviously losing the game as well.
Putting all that aside, we've now got to change our focus pretty quickly, because we've got a 6-day turnaround coming up against an in-form Coburg, and we're still clinging to a top 8 spot and another big game, no doubt.
Yeah, well, we've had 2 really big games, or 3 if you count Sandringham, Williamstown and now Box Hill. So in the context of our season before the bye, I think it'll be a really interesting game. Now, what are we going to bring to the table? That's the unknown. And so the group has been challenged. 2 out of the last 3 we've come up short, and I think now we'll do everything that we can to plan and prepare and look at players who played well at home club. We're obviously going to have at least 1 injured player missing in Izzy. So we've got another injured player in Dylan Atkins as well with the shoulder. So I'm not sure what the outcome is there. We haven't heard anything as yet. But there were some good players who played well. Waddell got best on. Kyle Dove's had a good patch of form. Jake O'Brien played well up at Castlemaine, even though they got hammered by 206 points or something like that. You know, Red had a bit of a run around at Noble Park. So there is a little bit to look at. And no doubt we'll have to look at what we want as far as guys that will compete for 4 quarters and just try and give us what we need to have playing against Coburg, who no doubt will come here with some sort of confidence because their last couple of weeks have been pretty good.
Well, Gary, a tough day at the office yesterday, but thanks for fronting up as you always do, and best of luck this weekend against the Lions.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.